The first time I saw Gunso riding a skateboard after Koyuki, I couldn't stop laughing. People always ask, is that a shell on wheels? But when they take a closer look, they realize it's actually a tiny turtle doing everything he can to keep up with his cat sister. Koyuki can try to hide from her little brother, but somehow he always finds her. Watching them together is hilarious, especially once you realize why he's trying so hard to stay by her side. One day, a tiny kitten started showing up outside our front door. She was filthy and absolutely starving. So I started leaving food out for her every day. That was Koyuki. She was very wary of people, but one day she finally let me pet her. That's when I knew I could bring her home. 2 years later, I was walking home when I saw something that looked like a shell. And when I got closer, I realized it was a tiny turtle. He was dehydrated and weak. Right next to a busy road with cars constantly driving by. There was no owner anywhere around. His shell was dusty, like he'd been wandering around for a while. So I took him home and reported it to the police, hoping someone would come looking for him. But no one ever did. I'd never had a turtle before, so I wasn't really sure what I was doing. But I knew he needed water immediately. So we bought him a brand new tank for him to soak into. I was a little worried about how Koyuki would react. But I felt like this little turtle was my responsibility now. I did a lot of research to make sure I gave him the best setup possible. We decided to name him
Gunso.
But Koyuki was definitely cautious at first. It was like she couldn't figure out what kind of cat he was supposed to be. But eventually, her curiosity got the better of her. I started noticing her sitting next to his tank every day, just watching him. Without even realizing it, checking on Gunso had become part of her routine. We still kept them apart at first, just to be safe. Once Gunso had settled in, we started introducing them little by little. Gunso was hooked immediately. Koyuki, not so much. She'd just sit back and watch him from a distance. Meanwhile, Gunso wanted to be as close to her as possible. So she'd run away from him and hide whenever he came near. At that point, I honestly didn't think it was ever going to work. But we kept trying. Over time, Koyuki slowly started approaching Gunso on her own. And before we knew, they were curled up together in a sunny spot. After that, they became inseparable. They sleep together, they're always in bed together, they eat together. And every morning, Koyuki would go straight to Gunso's tank and wait patiently for him to come out so they could play together. Sometimes she couldn't even wait that long, so she'd climb right into his tank to be with him. They spend their time chasing each other around the house and playing hide and seek. Sometimes it feels like total chaos. Gunso even started playing with cat toys, just like a real kitten. But Gunso was so small, he couldn't keep up with his new sister around the house. And it was really sad to see. So we decided to help him out. And that was the moment we thought, what if we get him a mini skateboard? Since he'd always been a surprisingly fast walker for a turtle. We thought it'd be funny to see what he'd do with a tiny skateboard. We set him on it just once, expecting absolutely nothing. But within minutes, he had figured out how to push himself around all on his own. Gunso was a master on the board from the second he climbed on. It was hilarious. Gunso is super clingy and is always right under Koyuki's feet. And even though Koyuki loves him, she can never get a moment of peace. Until she finally thought, well, if you can't beat him, join him. Now, no matter where Koyuki is, Gunso is zooming right behind her.
The house is basically their racetrack now. You always have to watch your step because Gunso could be rolling by at any second.
Safe to say one skateboard wasn't enough. He's got a whole collection now. Every time Koyuki sees something out the window, Gunso never misses a beat.
He has no idea what she's looking at, but he still wants to be part of it.
And Gunso even has his own little bell that he rings whenever he wants Koyuki to come play with him. I can tell you something that most people don't know about Gunso. There's actually a reason he's following Koyuki around all the time. He's completely in love with her. Every chance he gets, he'll sway his head from side to side and put on his best little courtship dance. Unfortunately for Gunso, the crush is completely one-sided. Koyuki sees him more like her kitten than a boyfriend. She looks after him, keeps him company, and even licks his shell to help keep it clean. But Gunso hasn't given up yet. He's still convinced that one day he'll win her heart. I never in my wildest dreams expected Koyuki and Gunso to get along. But watching their relationship grow has been incredible. We always make sure to supervise them when they're playing. But Koyuki has never been mean or rough to Gunso. And every day with these two is just another adventure